Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Nicolas Refn's Drive in 2011. Now this is his 8th feature film, and of course I've been doing, Refn reviews on my channel, and at the end I'll be doing a ranking. And of course when he makes his new films, I'll just add them in to an updated ranking at some point, in the future, and just, review them as they come out. But yes, this is his 8th film, and yeah, of course it's his most well known really, this is the one that made him worldwide, known. Still a bit under the radar really, but this is, if you had to pick one film where, he'd be known for, worldwide, it'd be this, and, commercially and critically it's done well. And yes, people have, at that time I didn't see it, but in years since, I've been hearing, great things about the film, and, I was quite late to seeing it last year, quite late to the party, and yeah, just, a couple of the people I knew actually called it a masterpiece and said it was one of the best, films in recent years and stuff, of the 2010s. And yeah, I watched it last year for the first time. This was my third viewing, and that was last month actually that I rewatched it for the third time. And yes, of all this massive, the hype that was built up around it, and the fact that I love Ryan Gosling as well. He's one of my favourite modern actors. Oscar Isaac is in this film. Ron Perlman, I'm not a big fan of usually. But yes, you had a really good cast, of course. And I was just really intrigued. It looks really, really good. And with all this hype and stuff, and people calling it, an indie masterpiece. I watched it for the first time, and I just thought they're correct. For me, it really is a masterpiece, and yeah, it is. It's among the best films really of the 2010s. And just a stunning film. And really the expectations were surpassed. Really, you could say in some aspects, and it's growing on me each time. Like the films usually do. If I love them, they get even better on rewatches. Because you can see more different details and everything, and just generally when you're familiar with a story, it actually improves it sometimes when you rewatch. But Drive, it's an absolutely stunning film, and of course it was one of the first Refns that I saw, last year, because I hadn't seen, gone on this kind of director series then, and it's still really for me his best I've seen. And as a spoiler for the ranking, I think this is his best film. I think it's actually better than Bronson, which I thought was a slightly flawed masterpiece. And I've also, Bleeder, Pusher 2, Pusher 3, they're all great films, but Drive is the one that brings everything. It's just the all round, flawless film really. It's the only Refn film I've seen that is flawless. Even Bronson does have a couple of flaws that I mentioned. Ryan Gosling he stars as this getaway driver, and the opening scene, which is absolutely stunning. It's basically him. There's a kind of robbery going on at night, and he's a getaway driver, and it kind of shows you how he works and stuff. And straight away you're kind of introduced. He doesn't actually really speak at first, and yeah, he's quite a silent character throughout the film. Not too much, as much as he's not fully silent like say One Eye was from Valhalla Rising, but he is more of that quiet protagonist. But yes, you basically are introduced to him in this robbery at night, and you straight away notice just how kind of much of a perfectionist he is with his what he does with the getaway driving. And it's just Ryan Gosling is absolutely stunning in this film. His acting is wonderful. Probably along with another film, it could be his best performance. It could be, and he's given some really great performances, especially in recent years. The last couple of years really. But I think Drive could be still his best performance. And his character is so well written. It doesn't say too much throughout the film, as I've said, but the mystery behind it and the way that Gosling just, the eye contact and everything, and just his presence, it's just so brilliant. And I cared for him so much, got completely invested in him, but also through the characters he met, throughout the film and the relationships he formed. But Drive is basically, the plot really, without ruining it, and just kind of, if you've not seen it, it's basically, it's this getaway driver, and you know, after the first sort of opening scenes and stuff, you know, he's friends with Bryan Cranston's character of Shannon and stuff, and he's got this neighbour played by Carey Mulligan, and she's got this kid, and her husband is you know, in jail and stuff, and basically, yeah, it's just about different things that affect his life and change things, and he forms a relationship with her, you know, his neighbour, and then things happen. You know, Oscar Isaac eventually gets out of prison, and you know, things change there, things develop, and you know, things, you know, take a turn, and everything gets turned upside down basically. And the villain is played by Ron Perlman, who I usually don't like. Really, I've not really seen a film before this where he was good in, really, for me. But he was really great as a villain, you know, and he had a lot. There's a lot of humour in it, but really, yeah, he plays the villain really, really well. And you know, it's just stunning there and stuff, and yeah, it's just you know, the film just gradually builds and builds, and you know, the relationships form, the tension rises, and it just culminates. It's pretty short once again, and it's just a wonderful film. You know, when Ryan Gosling, you know, first meets Carey Mulligan, the relationship is introduced in a, you know, and it's basically you know, it forms in a natural way. Refn really just knows how to kind of just show scenes that are very sincere and human and true, and just the way that not a lot of not a lot is actually said at times, but you just feel it, and yeah, the lack of dialogue, it just enhances the film, and of course the opening scene is absolutely stunning. Loads of people talk about that. The way that, you know, he uses sound design and lighting to build the tension, and just the way that scene plays out, the actual chase, the kind of just the way he films, you know, the driving scenes and stuff, is absolutely stunning. It's immaculate, really. The cinematography in this film, stunning. But really, the film kicks in once he meets Carey Mulligan, and that starts to form the relationship, and it's just a stunning romance, really. A very complex one, of course, and obviously the things that, you know, the actual situation that arises, you know, it plays out very differently to what you think. But you know, it's just I was just, you know, completely blown away by it, and you know, the relationship is so you know, human, and as well, you know, he becomes like a father figure for the kid as well, and it was just so wonderful, you know, uplifting, and the way that, you know, the scenes where they're just driving along to the songs and stuff, and the soundtrack in this film is stunning. A Real Hero is a standout track, really. That's the theme, you could say. And it's just got such a feel, you know, a perfect choice of songs. Refn really, you know, even when he doesn't, even if there's films that I don't really like from him, he always really has a great, you know, soundtrack, or at least he knows how to use sound design for the most part, and stuff as well. The sound design in this is wonderful, his best, just the way he uses that to build tension in particular, you know, certain scenes, and just, you know, combined with the visuals and just the way that the plot unfolds, you know, the story, the narrative just constantly builds, stunning, and it just reaches really real heights of tension that, you know, and it's quite a brutal film as well, you know. There's one of the most violent scenes I've seen in recent years, actually, you know. It's in an elevator. I won't ruin, but it's, you know, it's really very graphic, but yes, it's just a beautiful film as well, and it's not gratuitous violence, which Refn can sometimes do. Yeah, I'll get to that. But yes, it's a way that just really is just true to the story, and it doesn't make Ryan Gosling's character, you know, less likable. Really, it just, you know, it's shocking stuff. But you know, Ryan Gosling is such a complex character in this film, and yeah, I just got so invested in the romance, you know, and just the stuff that was going on. Bryan Cranston as well is really great in this memorable role. There's a lot of comedy and stuff, and you just care for all the side characters. You know, the villain's great, you know, Ron Perlman, which is surprising, you know, and you know, it's got a very tight script as well, and the centerpiece, you know, heist of the film is really stunning. It's so tense, and just quite emotional as well. Yes, this film is emotional. The heights it reaches is absolutely, you know, something else. You know, Carey Mulligan is really great in this film, and you know, just the way that central romance plays out and stuff, and you know, the final act and stuff. It's just so emotional. You know, and just every aspect of filmmaking really is on, you know, top form here. Refn is absolutely, you know, completely and utterly in control of this film. It's directed really to perfection, and you know, you think at first this getaway driver is you know, is quite serious and everything, and he's not really, you know, warm and stuff, but it soon sets in that he is, and it's through the other characters and stuff, and the relationships. The character development in that sense is stunning, really. Just the way he's able to add humanity to this guy, and gradually and naturally develop it throughout the film, and just how much I got invested in this, you know, in this film, and just all of the chase scenes, all the action, you know, the gunfights and everything. It's just all perfect, really. You know, it's just all so well choreographed. It's brutal, but it's not overly, you know, graphic and gratuitous violence in that sense. That, as I say, some of his films can be. The editing as well is absolutely masterful. You know, the editing in this film, it's so, you know, there's not really a shot out of place, and just the way that he kind of edits them together, it's just stunning, and it has such a flow to it. You know, it never lets up, and so sharp. You know, the editing. It's just a perfect film, really, a flawless masterpiece. You know, the soundtrack, everything about this film, and just all the characters. You know, the way that they're developed and how much I cared. Oscar Isaac as well, really standout performance here. One of his best roles as well. He's just stunning. He plays Standard, I think it was, which is quite a weird name, just Standard. And yeah, he was really great in this film. You know, it's such an emotional film. And as well, it leaves it on a kind of ambiguous ending, you could say. You can take your own sort of, you can make your own sort of mind up about what happens at the end. I certainly know what I feel about the ending, but yeah, it's just such a stunning film, and I'd highly recommend it. You know, really is it's a masterpiece. Like those people said, you know, it really is one of the best films of the 2010s, and just you find new things in it when you rewatch it. You know, and just the way everything unfolds, the plot, the visuals, you know, the use of colours in this film as well. You know, it's just mind blowing. This is Nicolas Winding Refn's, you know, best shot film, you know, and everything in terms of the colour tone, you know, and the lighting and everything is so perfect. When he's just able to create such an atmosphere, you know, mood, just through the visuals alone and the sound design combined, you know, it's just pure mastery of cinema, really, in this film, and very, very unique as well. It doesn't have a lot of the stuff that goes on, the flaws of a lot of modern films. You know, it's just really, it's a unique film and thoroughly human. It always stays focused, you know, constantly focused on the narrative. And there's never anything I felt was out of place. You know, tonally, this film is perfect, really, and it just constantly builds and builds. The emotions just keep going, and that final sort of payoff is stunning, while also leaving it up to you to kind of fully decide on what happened at the end. And it's just stunning. Ryan Gosling is, you know, absolutely brilliant in this film. And I've kind of said all I need to say, because it really is just, it's not really got any flaws, and you know, it's a wonderful film. Of course, you know, a lot of people have seen it now, but if you haven't, I highly recommend it. And yeah, it's great as well to see, you know, I've been seeing you know, his other films again. You know, when I went on this director series, basically, seeing all of his other films that he made before this, it's great to do that and then watch it again. It's just really something, because for me this is, you know, it's 100%. It's not quite a plus, you know, it's not quite a plus rating, you know, but it's pretty perfect, and you know, it's his best film, I think, and that's a spoiler because obviously the other two I've not given this rating, and it's the only, you know, 100% masterpiece I've given for a Refn film, and it's definitely his best film. You know, Drive. It's really quite flawless and certainly a masterpiece, and definitely one of the best films in, you know, modern cinema. And yeah, absolutely wonderful. Probably my fourth favourite film of 2011 at the moment, of course. But yeah, it's just a masterpiece, and so I recommend it so much if you've not seen it. Yeah, and of course, if you have, you know, yeah, just you probably know what I'm on about. It's just a stunning film, and Ryan Gosling, absolutely brilliant, and just everything. Cinematography, as I've said, editing, direction. Constantly so focused. The narrative, the way the film flows and builds, the tension that rises, not just through the plot and everything, the characters, but the use of sound design and the visual storytelling. It's immaculate, really. And it's got such an emotional core. It's such a warm film, it really is, with a lot of heart. And you could say that the biggest, the Refn film to show the heart the most. It really is. It's such a warm film. And I love that. A lot of modern films actually. I'm not saying all of them, of course, and there's loads of films that are, warm and stuff and have a heart, but it's less so than past years and stuff. It's great to see a film that kind of does that again and stuff. It's just stunning, and from start to finish, really is quite a cinematic perfection, really. For a modern film, it really is just great. And just in general, it really is just a masterpiece of cinema. And one I'll be looking forward to watching again at some point, because it's just brilliant. So thanks for watching my review of Nicolas Winding Refn's Drive, and the next review I'll be doing, of course, with Refn will be Only God Forgives. And then I'll be doing The Neon Demon as well, which is his latest film in 2016. I've seen them both, of course, now. I've already got my ratings and stuff. That should be interesting. But yes, as it stands, Drive I still think is his best film, and I look forward to doing them reviews probably in the next few days maybe. But thanks for watching my review of Refn's Drive.